Well, good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Saturday, November the 12th, here 2022. And we are live here for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mike Overson of Illuminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, and I'm Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate Team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Appreciate you joining us here today. We again are going to be live on social media, wherever you might be catching the show, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. This is a real estate show. It's fun, it's interactive. We welcome your questions, your comments, your thoughts. I've got a lot of good stuff to talk about. And again, as you're watching, you can join the stream at any point, whichever platform you might be watching on, with any comments, questions, thoughts. And again, we're going to get ready to go live on here in a little bit. But good morning there, Michael Overson. Nice to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, Ryan.
A lot going on today. I'm looking forward to our first segment to hear what's going on with our real estate and mortgage update.
Yeah, talk a little bit about rates. What happened this week with rates? It's good news. So that's a positive there. And we'll talk about what we're seeing coming up here between now and the end of the year.
Yeah, also got to welcome on Chad Alfords with New Age Technologies and the newest partner with the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Good morning, bud.
Hey, Ryan. Thanks for having us.
It's going to be a fun show.
Yes, it is. Looking forward to it.
It's going to be a fun show. Thank you again, everybody, joining us. Wherever you might be seeing us, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Good morning, Ashley. But a lot to talk about today, just as Mike said, from a mortgage standpoint, real estate standpoint. We're going to be sharing all those numbers with you. Again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us live on air. 612-294-6949. And we're going live on Twin Cities News Talk right now. Thanks for tuning in. Good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for joining us. It is November the 12th, 2022, and we're live here every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mike Overson of Illuminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering of the WE Team, the Minnesota Real Estate Team with RE/MAX Advantage Plus, and my name is Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus as well. Appreciate you joining us. It is a cold weekend here in Minnesota. We got a little bit of snow falling even last night and today, but a lot to talk about today in the real estate world, the mortgage world, and we always welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. This is a fun, interactive show. We're here until 11 o'clock, both on Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130, and then also on social media, wherever your favorite platform might be, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Don't hesitate to join us with any comments you might have. 612-294-6949. A lot going on, and good morning, Mike. Thanks for being here, bud.
You bet, Ryan. Always good to be here.
A lot going on in the mortgage world, the real estate world. And Mike, I think we should probably dive in. We finally have some good news for folks from your perspective.
Yeah, look at the last 10 months. It's kind of been, bad news week after week as far as interest rates go. Just sliding up. The big news of this week is on Thursday, the CPI report came out. So that's the Consumer Price Index. So that came out. That is a measure that a lot of people use to kind of figure out which way inflation is going, right? It's just one of the measures that we look at to kind of guide and let us know what's happening with inflation. So that report came in less than what was expected. So that would lead to us to believe that inflation is trending downwards versus upwards.
Okay.
And there's a very positive movement in the market. So we ended up like 220 basis points up on the day on Thursday. So to most people are like, well, what the heck does that mean? Well, like a normal movement in a day would be anywhere between, let's say, 15 and 25 basis points, let's say. So on Thursday alone, it went up 220,
Wow.
right? And so that's a huge movement. We haven't seen that much of a movement on the day since COVID came out,
Okay.
right? And so rates then on Thursday, they went down roughly 0.3%, in some cases 0.5% in one day. So so with that positive movement in the market, lowers rates down. So now we're talking about lower rates. Last week we were sitting in the high 6s to low 7s. Now we're in the low 6s to mid 6s.
Yeah, it's interesting. So again, it's the news was better than expected, and so then they think that the Fed maybe won't continue. Is a thought that they won't continue pushing up the Fed funds rate as quickly, and it's just interesting how that all plays out with mortgage rates.
Yeah, I think the Feds will still do it. So I think in December they're still going to raise the Fed's funds rate, which is not mortgage rates. Okay, it's something completely different. But they're going to raise the Fed's funds rate probably another 0.5% if I had to take a guess. Because they came out and said that they want to make sure they would rather overdo it and raise their rate a little too much and then pull back versus not doing it enough, because they really know that inflation can get out of control, and so they want to make sure they tame that down. So I do see them still raising it again in December, but maybe not as much as they thought they would have to raise it then. And so that's going to be all good news for our interest rates. So it'll be curious to see how much this holds. Typically, when you get that big of a movement one day, you lose a lot of that movement, in the subsequent days after that. So we'll have to see if it holds or not. But I think at least half of it will stick, which means, hey, if rates went down 0.25% as a net over the one day, we'll take it.
Yeah. So again, that obviously affects all of the buyers out there, from your buying power, what you can afford, how much you can purchase. It was nice to have some good news for a change for all the fellow folks in mortgage, real estate, title. It's just been kind of a success of bad news, like over the last number of months, Mike.
Right. Yeah. So it's good the news. It's good to bring good news, and then hopefully this also signals that we're kind of at the top, right? We're at the top of interest rates where they're going to creep to, and hopefully that trend downward starts here, so that as we go through the winter and the spring here, hopefully we can get rates back down into the 5 somewhere.
Yeah, as you're watching or as you're listening, if you have questions at all, you can either comment on the social media stream, or 612-294-6949 is our phone line to take your live calls and or text messages that come in. In the first break, or before the first break here, we did want to dive into the real estate numbers, Mike and Chad. Again, some interesting numbers this week. New listings, new homes for sale in the Twin Cities, down 21%. So 21% less new properties that went on the market. Pending sales or accepted offers still down very significantly, down 41%. So 41% less accepted offers this past week compared to last year at the same time. And then the overall inventory increased slightly. It's up a little over 5%. There are 9,015 homes for sale in the Twin Cities. And days on market, average days on market in the Twin Cities is up almost 40% year over year. There are 32 days on market right now. Again, compared to last year. And so again, when you look at, big picture, what does this mean? These numbers, if you follow the show, you listen to this is very similar to what we've seen the last couple of months. It's interesting, Mike, because, there are a lot of listings that are selling stuff that is priced correctly, in good condition, in a desirable area, is still, things are still moving.
Still moving, absolutely.
What's hard though is, again, a lot of stuff that is overpriced that, perhaps the owners are trying to grab that price. Maybe that was there earlier in the year in that spring market, and they're not able to get that right now, and not reducing the price. that's part of what we're seeing with that increased market time. And so, thoughts on that?
Yeah, when you got a market that's moving like this, you can't look back 6 months. You can't even really look back 3 months, to be honest with you. If you really want to know, realistically what your house is going to sell for, you got to look at homes that have sold in the last 30 days. That's really got to look like, part of this is seasonal, right? We see this every single year going into this time of the year. Things just naturally slow down in our real estate market year over year. That happens every single year. Part of this too is also interest rates, that they're higher now this year than last year, and then you have other factors too, right? Consumer goods are just more expensive, right? Gas is more expensive, groceries are more expensive. That's going to take some people out of the game a little bit. But I will tell you that there are a ton of buyers on the sidelines. There's a ton of buyers on the sidelines right now that are pre-approved, ready to go, and they're just sitting on the sidelines. What's it going to take for them to get back out there and be active? Is it a price? Is it home prices coming down a little more? Is it interest rates coming down? We'll have to wait and see. But the demand for buying homes is still there. It's still out there. They're just literally just looking at it from the sidelines, and I don't know what that triggers to get them back into the game, but it's going to happen for sure in the spring. But I'm curious to see here if we can get interest rates maybe to come down a little bit more. I think that's going to spark a lot of people to kind of jump back in.
Yeah, again, if you are a home seller, a potential home seller thinking of selling your home, price again is just always so crucial, so important. Having your agent really sit down with you, show you the data, kind of show you the numbers, and it is hard. There's cases where sometimes you talk to sellers and they've invested a lot of money into the home, maybe different parts of the house, different things that, as we know over the years, that you may put $20,000 into your home, and then you think, well, I'm going to get that money out. It's going to affect my home sale, and the monies you invest are not equal, Mike, as far as what they can bring in the sale price for your home.
Yeah, and we see it all the time. There's definitely better ways to spend that money. There's worse ways. And you can't always look at it of what's my return going to be on it, because you have the enjoyment factor as well, right? So if you're going to finish a basement off and put a theater room in there, if you're going to enjoy that, there's a value to that too, though. Yeah, if I put 30 grand into a theater down there, I only get $10,000 back out when I sell my house. There's also like I said, an enjoyment value there as well, that has to come into play. So, if that's what's going to make you happy, if that's what you guys like doing, great, go for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good questions coming in. Maybe we'll hit this one after the break. That says, please do speak to realistic pricing. I have a few sellers that won't move their price point. That's becoming common in our market. We're at the first break here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. We're live here from 10 to 11 o'clock. Welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. We'll be back after the break. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us on social media, wherever you might be catching us. Please speak to realistic pricing. That is a tough one. I think a lot of times it comes down to, does the seller really need to sell? Oftentimes, people don't need to sell. They want to sell, or they want us to get to a certain number. And it's a hard conversation to have with your sellers. But I think really showing the most recent market numbers, price per square foot, recent sales in the area, some of those different things, just to say, look, the numbers kind of are what they are. And your agent, you can't expect your agent to be a magician. He or she is not going to be able to, get $30,000 more than the market may bear, especially again with appraisals, Mike. People forget the appraisal point.
Yeah, that's the other piece too. So, we really didn't see a whole lot of low appraisals coming in when, in the spring, when it was pretty crazy, when you're offering 20, 30, 40 grand over list price. I think that's going to eventually catch up to us. I think we're going to see a few more of those come in at this time of the year. Just because, appraisers are going to look back 6 to 12 months. And, as we get further away from there, right, the further we get away from the spring, the more and more we have a chance to run into low appraisals, just because you're not going to have those documented higher sales that came into play.
Yeah.
So I was pleasantly surprised last year that we didn't run into as many as I thought we would. And maybe I could be wrong here too, but I think they might pop up just a little bit more this year.
Really appreciate Chad Alfords joining us today on the show. Chad, great to have you, bud.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
great to have you. And it's what's super cool, especially you were just talking about it. That's exactly what you do. New
thanks,
age technology. You texted me yesterday, and Chad said I should read it, but you said basically you put the largest TV in someone's house. Is that right?
Yeah, first one, 100-inch LED HD TV.
Oh, wow.
yesterday. Mhm.
Nice.
Yes.
100-inch.
Yes, sir. It was took 4 guys and a little bit of effort. So, yeah. So they're getting very prevalent, the larger displays, and some people just have to have it. So.
Oh my gosh, Mike! Can you imagine
100-inch
that?
TV.
So what is that? 100-inch TV?
Mhm.
That's like 8 feet.
Yeah, it's about 8 feet.
Do you think more people will now shift over to that versus like projector then?
Well, that's great because we do both, right?
Yeah.
So I think for the typical homeowner, a larger flat screen display is more in their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But the guys that really want to dial it in, they do the dedicated theater and and with laser technology out now and the screen picture is awesome.
Here we go, guys. We're going live on air. Thanks for joining us. Hey, welcome back. How about a shout out for Mike Dubs from K102? Mike, you are a good man, my friend. You come in here on a Saturday. It's snowing out, rain or shine. Appreciate you, brother. K102. What's going on at K102? Anything new or exciting? Ooh, Tom. Have you seen Thomas Rhett? Oh, very nice. Super cool. Mike Dubs, K102. You know him from listening. Great guy, comes in to help us with the show. Very grateful for him and his good work. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us again anytime throughout the hour. We're talking lots of different things today. Again, we had the social media question come in. Please do speak to realistic pricing with our sellers. I've had a few sellers that won't move their price point. It's hard. Again, it's hard as a seller. You see your neighbors, you see your friends in the neighborhood that maybe sold their home in the spring or sold the home earlier in the year and got a certain number on that. From doing this show for a very long time, for almost 20 years, the market always does shift throughout the year. So what we're seeing right now with prices coming down is actually somewhat normal. Because again, the majority of the buyer demand, of course, is in kind of the spring, the summer market. Doesn't mean that stuff stops in Minnesota. I think, one thing I've learned over the years is deals keep happening for lots of different reasons. Relocation, job relocation, first-time home buyers, investors, marriage, divorce, sometimes unhappy things with death, with different reasons, estates, that type of thing. And so, to Mike's point earlier, there's so many buyers right now on the sidelines that are just trying to figure out what's going on with the market, with interest rates. What happened with interest rates? And now that they came down this week, Mike, that's some good news for folks. But I just think, do you think rates are going to get back down to that COVID level? Mike, maybe people are thinking that.
No.
Are you sure?
Not in our lifetime. I'm sure, never say never. I'm sure it will happen again at some point. But what is it going to take to get rates back down to where a 30-year fixed rate is like 3%? It's going to take another event like COVID. How many times during someone's lifetime does that happen?
Sure.
Once, probably during our lifetime.
Sure.
Maybe the next generation, they see it once, right? So no, you can't expect rates to go back down to where they were at. Now, can you expect rates to go back down into the 4s? Yeah, I think they can get back down into the 4s. 4.5, 4.75. Absolutely, I think rates can get there. Probably not going to be overnight, But I think in the next couple of years, can they get there? Sure.
Well, and we're seeing a lot of this happening now. You're seeing a lot of the different companies offering these different types of buy downs. So where, through the seller paying closing costs for you as the buyer, you're able to do these different, for example, Mike talked about a 3-2-1 buy down. So if the current rate, like Mike was saying, is say mid sixes, you're then down the first year. What is it? The first year is,
So you're 3% less the first year. So if your quote unquote normal rate 6.5, your first year interest rate is at 3.5, and then your second year rate goes to 4.5, third year rate goes to 5.5, and then year number 4 through 30 is at your 6.5.
yeah. Had a question come in. What do you guys see the amount of time needed to recover the benefit of owning versus renting? That's that's actually a really good question, because there is an amount of time, that, for those that have listened to the show, we are advocates of doing what is best for you and your family. So we're not all like, hey, you got to buy. Sometimes renting makes a lot of sense. But I would say it's, I don't have the exact number, Mike. It'd be interesting to hear what you think, but maybe it's a 2-year, a 3-year period where you start to get the benefits of home ownership, of, again, all the interest that you're paying on the loan is tax deductible. You're getting benefits of starting to own, something, an asset that has, potential to increase in value over time. If you look at Minnesota kind of historical numbers, it's been kind of a slow and steady increase. I'd say maybe a 2 to 3 year period, you're probably money ahead owning versus renting, because again, there's costs when you buy, of course, and then there's costs when you sell too. Mike, thoughts?
Yep. I actually know, like, almost down to the month what that is. It's 20 months is your break.
Is that what it is?
20 months is your break even. Now,
See why we bring him on, Chad?
Right.
You know what I mean?
assuming like
I'm kind of vague, a little fluffy,
Look at the numbers.
So I run buy versus rent stuff all day long, right? And we have this, we have this system where you can plug in stuff. You plug in your appreciation, you plug in your cost to sell, when you're ready to sell your house, things like that, right? So I see this chart a lot. Assuming, the average appreciation for real estate in the Minnesota Twin City area, is 4.2% per year, and this and that, blah, blah, blah. So you plug all that kind of assuming that your averages hold, you're at 20 months is your break-even point.
20 months, okay.
20 months. So buy a house, 20 months after you buy the house, now you have broken even. Now you're going to be making money basically every month after that.
Yeah, it is. It's something to think about. Again, there is interesting right now. There is with the millennial generation, I think what should give you hope as both, maybe buyers, sellers with our local market, is there is the largest number of the average first-time home buyer, guys, is guess what age that is?
Average first-time home buyer?
Yes.
33.
Okay. What do you think, Chad?
25.
Yeah, 31. And so I was looking at some data and statistics showing that millennial, that pool right now is the highest level that it's been in decades. So in other words, there's a really large number of people that are in that category right now. And so part of it is knowledge, becoming aware of, hey, what does it mean to own versus rent? But I think that demand, when you talk about there's a lot of buyers in the wings, that's not just fluff that Mike's coming up with. There are a lot of people, Mike.
Go look at birth rates 30 to 33 years ago. You'll see the chart goes like this, birth rates. So over the next 3 to 4 years, because birth rates 31 years ago, we're doing this, we're going to have people entering into that age group like you're talking about, do the same thing. We're going to have more and more over the next 3 years entering in there. So it would make sense that there would be more demand coming up because there's going to be more people entering that age of the average first-time home buyer.
Birth rates. Chad, are you thinking of more kids?
I got 0 kids.
Yeah,
Bulldogs, that's it.
I love it. I know you're Bulldogs fan. So Chad Alfords, he's our newest partner with New Age Technology. He texted me yesterday. I think it's super cool what you're doing. Tell people a little bit about who are you? Who's your business?
Well, New Age Technology, we are a smart home technology company that really helps people kind of figure out their tech in their house and their business. So, you know, what I like to say is I like to keep people out of Best Buy. You know, that's people's natural reaction is just to do a path of least resistance and walk in to a retail store.
Sure.
We're the retail store, but on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
So, and the nice thing about us is we design systems from the beginning all the way to completion. So people don't know what they want. We can educate them and help them figure that out.
I like the way he phrased it, because when we were talking the other day, you just said it is natural for people just to go to one of the big box stores to do this stuff. And he's like, well, what about, you know, the so-called little guys, or why not support a business like yours doing, like you said yesterday, doing a great install for someone? Is it knowledge? I mean, I guess maybe a lot of people don't realize that companies like that are common.
Yeah, I think the biggest hurdle that we all overcome is having people know who we are and not take that path of least resistance, you know, because typically, you know, we'll probably service 120 clients this year only. So we give people more of a custom VIP experience, you know, but, you know, we don't just work on big jobs. We help people from very beginner to very elite. It just depends on who they are and what they want to do.
And your office is close by, right here, close
It's about
to
2 miles from the studio here, right off of Cedar Avenue. So we're really trying to promote that this year and get more people into the design center so we can actually show them what is available with technology. And I think the biggest trend that we're seeing is automation.
Tell me more.
People want to make their home smart. So they want to control the lights, blinds, thermostats, their audio, video. They want to see their house from afar, right? So that way they know what's going on. And I think Amazon Alexa, drives that, because she's a voice activated system that can control a lot of this technology.
Mike, is your home smart?
No, my house is dumb.
You gotta come to this guy's house,
Right.
and you need an appointment.
I know. I should have him come out. And do
You
all
should, with such a nice home, such a very nice home. You need a smart home.
Well, I mean, I do have things that run the blinds and stuff for me. They're called my kids.
Yes.
That's my version of a smart home right now. But no, I agree with you. Our home is a little bit behind the times for sure.
Super cool, Chad. Is it for people that hear that though? Maybe I'm I'm a more that just sounds foreign to me.
Right.
What do you tell someone like that? You know what I mean?
Well, I try to say we try to dumb it down.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people like tech, they just don't understand how to do it or who to go to get it. So when we come in and we just say, hey, you can start here, mount a couple TVs on the walls or whatever. But if we really want to dial in the house, we sit down and kind of figure out what you want to do. If you want to control the lights, we have to put a specific platform in there to do that. But most of my days are just educating people on what's available to them in their house.
Sure. Very cool. We're at the halfway point already. We're going to continue the discussion here with Chad Alford's New Age Technology. He's got a physical location very close by here in St. Louis Park to check out, doing an outstanding job. Again, already the halfway point at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. After the break, we're going to continue the discussion. We've got some listings to feature as well. We'll be back after the break. So on the highest end, Chad, when you were talking about like yesterday,
Yes.
was that like the most expensive job that you've seen?
No. Well, I mean, that was one portion of this guy's project. He spent, $100,000 with us,
Wow.
in this particular house. But we did his TVs, we're doing his lighting, his thermostat control. I mean, like he wanted his house decked out to the max, so.
And run the whole thing from his phone, basically?
Yeah, on his phone, that's it. Yep, so.
Okay.
So playing devil's advocate, can you go into a big box and do that?
Like a Best Buy has like their Magnolia division that tries to get into this world a little bit. I've been doing this for 18 years, right? So
We've known each other a long time.
Yeah, I've watched technology progress. And actually with the internet, the way it is today, it's actually making my life easier, right? So when I sell these big systems, I actually manage your system from afar. So if you call me and said, "Hey, Chad, my router's offline. Can you hop in and see what's going on?" Yeah, I can do that. So it's a managed service that we offer to people, so, and we do this both in residential and commercial spaces, so we're not just residential at this point, we've migrated into the commercial side.
So how competitive is that landscape? Are there, like, for example, are there 10 other companies like you in the Twin Cities?
Yeah, great question. I actually did the research because I'm talking to a lot of marketing companies all the time. There's actually 212 companies like mine within a 50-mile radius of
Wow.
the Twin Cities. So yeah, it's heavily competitive, but there is every home and business requires technology today. I don't care if it's a simple network or it used to be kind of a add-on. Now it's more of a staple piece. So and that's why connecting with real estate agents when they close a transaction, it'd be a good handoff to send to us. Hey, this guy needs a couple TVs hung. Can you help him out? Yeah, I mean, we do that all day long. So,
right. And who's part of your crew? Like, who do you have when that potential job comes in? Who's all with you?
Yeah, I mean, right now we have 2 highly qualified installers that do a great job, and have also additional support with subcontractors that help me with bigger jobs. So, so we're not the biggest company in the world, but like I said, we don't want to service everybody, but we want to give everybody the greatest service.
Yeah.
So
Get the one-on-one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
nice.
Go ahead. I mean, like for me, it's almost like an artist, right? We start something from scratch, no ideas, and then we bring something to life, and people are like, "Yeah, that's amazing." We just got done doing a theater for a guy's house on Blaine. We did 1,200 LED lights in the ceiling to create a fiber optic ceiling experience for him.
1,200 LED lights in the ceiling?
Just imagine just a little light, 1,200 of them to create stars and different landscapes in the ceiling. And I bet you didn't know that was a thing either. Right?
Oh my gosh.
So
that's cool.
So, and tell me about that house. Is that just a super high-end home?
Well, yes and no. I mean, this guy really wanted a theater experience. So I just showed him, this is what you can do. It's not the most cost-effective thing, but when people come to you that don't really, they want that experience.
Sure.
It doesn't really matter. It's like, hey, I want to see shooting stars. I want to see the galaxy. Can you perform that for us?
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty wild, to be honest.
Oh,
it's a lot of fun.
We're talking again to Chad Alfords here, New Age Technology. All of our partners, by the way, if you go to mnrealestateshow.com, there you can find all of our trusted partners that we've worked with for so many years. If you are, I think we're going back live on air, but if you have questions, comments, thoughts, 612-294-6949. Appreciate you joining us. It's November 12th. Got a little snow in the air. Got a lot to talk about here in the second half of the show as well. Here we go. Hey, welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. It is a weekend of cold that is hitting us a little bit of coldness happening. And we do have, though, some featured listings. Wanted to touch on some great listings that the Minnesota Real Estate team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus, has. The first one, Mike Wierig, has got one in Blaine. This is 10601 6th Street Northeast in Blaine. And Mike said this is the first time this property's been for sale in over 35 years. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath, 2-car garage rambler. It's close to shopping, schools, all conveniences. And the owners have taken meticulous care in updating this home, beautiful one-level home. It sits on a corner lot. It's $329,900. So $329,900. Again, 10601 6th Street Northeast in Blaine. Super nice property. Alex Zauner with the Minnesota Real Estate team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus, has one, Mike, in your neck of the woods. This is actually in Burnsville. It is a townhome in Burnsville, and it's recently reduced to $349,900. And Alex mentioned that the sellers are offering $10,000 for an accepted offer towards an interest rate buy down or towards closing costs. It is a move-in ready townhome. It's got a newer 3-season porch, new kitchen remodeled in 2022, high-end appliances, new flooring, new windows in 2017, roof replaced in 2015. New ground floor bath remodeled 2022, walk-in closets, quick close available minutes to 35E, 35W, 69 Garden Drive in Burnsville. When you look at the photos, really nice looking property, updated. Mike, we're seeing more of that. So in this case, Alex says they're offering $10,000 towards that interest rate buy down.
You didn't see that in the spring?
No, not at all.
No. That's what's great. I said it last week. I said it actually for the last few weeks in the show. I mean, I honestly think the best time to buy a house in our market, if you look back 12 months and look forward 12 months, right? That 24-month period is going to be these next 3 months. November, December, January. Yeah, it's even add February in there. Those 4 months, it's going to be the best time to buy the house. I think you're going to be able to get the best terms on it. You marry the house and you date the rate, right? So the interest rates are a little bit higher now than what they were back in the spring. But they'll come down. You can always refinance to a lower rate, get the best terms on the house because you can't go back and negotiate a different price for the house once you bought it.
Yeah, in real estate, guys, they often say that your first offer that you have is your best offer in many cases. And the reason that is buyers have seen the market. They know what's out there. They know kind of where things are at. And what I'm hearing in talking to agents, I was talking to a team member with our team this morning who offer came in, and it sounds like they were about $15,000 below the listing price, which in this case, the sellers were not crazy about negotiating. They didn't want to negotiate. Again, it's hard sometimes because you're looking backwards. You're looking at, this is what I should be getting for my property. But I guess part of my point, guys, is that we're seeing some more negotiation happen. We're seeing people negotiate.
Absolutely.
In cases where maybe the seller comes back and says, look, we're not going to take $15,000 less. I've heard some cases where the buyer, again, comes back again at a higher price, and they get closer to the list price to get things done.
Yeah. And we're going to see more and more of that here as we go through on the year. I mean, if we go back to the spring, I don't remember even one transaction where the seller was paying any of the buyer's closing costs. If I look at the purchase agreements that I've received in the last 30 days, almost every single one then in the last 30 days, the seller is paying some sort of portion of the buyer's closing costs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Again, we're talking to Chad Alford's New Age Technology. Chad, I like your analogy. You said instead of going into the big box places, kind of slowing down and saying, look, there's companies like you, a great company right here, very close by in the Twin Cities that can sit down and get a customized experience for your smart home.
Yes. I mean, going off that, I think, once people find you and know, that you're out here and you exist, then, it becomes very easy for them because we walk them through every step. Because a lot of people get really uncomfortable with technology, but we speak to them in terms that are very normal, so they get it. And then the end result is something that they never thought that they could have.
Is it one app or a multiple apps then where people control things?
Yeah, typically you can go at it in a couple different ways, based on budgets. But, there is smart home technology out there that has multiple apps that you can use on your phone. Otherwise, we come to them with a more of a control solution, bring it into one app, and then that way they can see everything: lights, thermostat, TVs, audio. I mean, it's a pretty cool experience, and that's what I get to show them at my showroom.
Very cool. What is the address of your showroom too, just so we get?
Address is 6701 West 23rd Street, St. Louis Park. It's right by the West End.
So close by where we are. Website too.
Yeah, our website is newagehometheater.com. You can check us out there.
Yeah, New Age Home Theater had a nice comment come in, Mike. Josh. Josh mentioned, he said, I have made my house a smart house over the years with lights, thermostats, TVs, garage doors, speakers, cameras, and other devices. When my router goes out and I have to replace it, it takes me 4 hours to reconnect all of my devices. Any recommendations on how to fix that?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the devices that he has hooked up because, yes, a lot of technology is internet based, but once it is set up, it shouldn't take that much time to reconfigure all these smart devices.
Is that common? Is that a common objection or a common?
Well, what we see a lot is, and we really seen this when COVID hit because everybody was working from home. So a lot of the phone calls that came in was, "Hey, my internet's slow," or "Hey, I need a better, more consistent internet system at our house." So because technology is tied to the internet so much, that's a staple piece that we sell a lot of because that is like the engine that drives all this technology.
Yeah.
So did he maybe, piece things together from different manufacturers and things like that, and maybe that's why it doesn't all maybe talk to each other?
Correct. So typically we tell people that a lot of these manufacturers play nice together and some of them don't. So
kind of like life.
right.
Right.
So when we go into a system, obviously I have preferred partners that I like to promote
Sure.
because I know they work accordingly.
Sure.
And that way, it's bulletproof. And the worst phone calls we get is when somebody's having a big event or a big party and all of a sudden their system goes offline.
Oh boy.
So with technology, we've all been there, right? That typically can happen, and it happens at the most inconvenient time.
Mike,
Right.
I know that, again, as we're moving forward into November, December, the winter months here, from Illuminate Home Loan standpoint, you and your team, advice for buyers, people in this market.
Advice. My advice is, don't be all hung up on the interest rate. That's the last thing you really want to be worried about when you're buying a home, to be honest with you. Yeah, Mike, that sounds completely, why would we not worry about interest rates? The reason why I say that is because, again, there's two costs when you buy a house, right? You got the cost of the house itself, and you got the cost of the financing to get the house.
Yeah.
Right now, they're basically on a teeter-totter, right? So if you look at the cost of financing back in the spring or even last year when rates are at 3% flat, right? That teeter-totter was way down, but then what happened to the price of the house? That side of the teeter-totter was way up, right? So now that teeter-totter is leveling back out, right? Now the home prices are going to be on the downside. Interest rates are on the higher side. Eventually rates will come back down, right? And I don't think it's going to be too far in the future here. So if you can get the best terms on the house and buy your house on the bottom side of the teeter-totter, you're eventually going to refinance your interest rate. So that's also going to be on the bottom side of the teeter-totter, and that's how you win on both sides. So I don't think interest rate is something that you got to focus on. I think right now, the better thing is look at the type of terms you can get in the house are way better right now than a year ago.
We're already at the 3/4 point of the Minnesota Real Estate Show. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. We will be back after the break. Mike, are you having a lot of people, though, that they're having to redo their pre-approval because the rate has, in other words, they were approved for this, but now?
To be honest with you, not a whole lot.
Okay.
As rates go up, that's when you got to start looking at it because you qualify a little bit less. I didn't see a whole lot of people just pushing their max, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you can get a pre-approved for here at this current interest rate. Now, if rates go up 0.5%, now you qualify for less because you're literally riding that line. We just didn't see that many people riding and pushing that line. So as rates come down, they can qualify for more. So, if they were riding that line at a certain point because they want to be up at that level, as rates come down, they can go up a little bit higher,
Sure.
right? So, but to be honest with you, no. I mean, I didn't run into a whole lot of issues with rates going up and stuff as far as qualifying goes.
Chad, you've been in this.
I'm gonna show you this. Send that to him.
Oh, yeah.
Look
That's
at
a
that.
100-inch TV.
That's
That's the
theater
100-inch TV.
No, that's a 135-inch screen, but that's the theater with the
Oh,
fiber optic
wow.
lights.
Oh, that's
That's
a
a-
theater. Oh, okay.
That to zoom in. That super cool. Oh, it's got the lights. You can see kind of the lights
Oh,
yeah, on the ceiling too.
I gotta take a closer look at that. I thought that was it. Oh, yeah, that is the one.
It's interesting again because we're hearing more of that, and you think about it again with homes and people investing monies and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
people,
really cool.
you know, especially when COVID hit. I mean, you know, we've been working hard ever since day one of that because people couldn't go anywhere. So guess what they're doing?
They're at
either
home.
remodeling,
Sure.
or they're like, man, we need to upgrade our technology in here. And so, you know, it's been awesome for us, you know, business wise, you
Yeah.
know, and so why would you ever go out to the movie theater when you can have your own theater like this in your house?
Sure.
And get the movies that are coming to the theater very soon afterwards, you know? So,
It is interesting now how that's world has shifted. You know how that world has totally shifted. Mike, again, thinking about, I just keep coming back to some of the financing stuff. But when you think about rate standpoint, it's hard for people to get over that
It is.
quick rise.
It is. I get it. It's definitely hard. It's hard to get over that. Just don't focus on. There's ways around it.
Yeah,
You know, you can buy your rate down, and the seller will probably pay for it nowadays.
right.
You know what I mean? So there's, if that's your hurdle, we have solutions for that.
Maximum amount of closing costs a seller can pay, Mike?
Well, it depends on your loan type,
Okay,
and it depends on your down payment. So if you really want me to get into it, so if you're doing a conventional loan,
yeah,
you have less than 10% down, seller can pay 3% of the purchase price towards
Okay.
the buyer's closing costs. If you have 10% to 10% to 24.99% down, they can do 6% of the purchase price.
6%.
You know, if you have 25% or more down, they can do 9%.
Oh my gosh.
So
Do you ever see that?
No. I mean, think about it. $500,000 house, 9%, 45
Here we
grand.
go. We're going back live on air. Twin Cities News Talk. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Hope your weekend has been going well. November 12th, 2022. Appreciate you tuning in. And got one other listing I did want to touch on. Mr. Craig Hillier, awesome agent with the Minnesota real estate team, Remax Advantage Plus. He has a brand new listing in the much sought after Brandon Farm neighborhood in Lakeville. And it's a very hard to find rambler. He says it's a 4-bed, 3-bath home, 3,500 square feet. And the community itself has 2 pools, 2 meeting rooms. It's listed at $750,000. The home itself was built in 2013. Again, finished square feet, right near that 3,500 finished square feet, with the 4-bed, 3-bath, 3-car garage as well. Craig sent me a flyer on this one. As you look at this, a lot of curb appeal on this home. It's 16759 Draft Horse Court. 3 different words. 16759 Draft Horse Court. You have to Google this one too, just to pull up to see the photos. But Craig mentions again, it's a lovely home nestled on a cul-de-sac. As we mentioned, features 4 bedrooms with the primary and second bedroom on the main level. Hardwood floors greet you, as he says, at the door, extend throughout the open concept kitchen and formal dining room. This is a gem in the heart of the desired and sought after spirit of Brandon Farms development, ready to be someone's new adventure. Again, just looking at all the photos here, got a great view, awesome 1-level living, an awesome front porch, basement oasis. Chad, you would like that. Basement oasis, as he talks about. Check this one out. Again, Craig Hillier has that one, 16759 Draft Horse Court for $750,000. You know that area, don't you, Mike?
I do.
Have you
Yeah.
you've done loan? I bet a good number of loans.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And actually, our neighbor ended up moving over to Brandon Farms. So she was getting up there in age, and she wanted to kind of simplify her life a little bit. And so she ended up selling her house that was right next to ours and moved there. And it's a great development.
Yeah, one last one. Karen Lunzer has one. This one is in Afton, 15740 Afton Hills Drive for $349,900. It's a 5.8 acre buildable lot in a desirable Afton location, 15740 Afton Hills Drive. Very cool. She's got some online drone shots as well to see the views. Really a nice looking property with Karen Lunzer, the Minnesota Real Estate Team Remax Advantage Plus. Guys, we've got just a few minutes left. Chad, we've been having a nice discussion today about you and your company. Best way for people to get involved with you guys if they're interested in learning more?
Well, I think the best way is just to reach out to us either by phone or visit our website and send us a little contact info, and we can set up a time for you to come in and check out the showroom. Otherwise, we do a no obligation free estimate to come out and take a look at your house.
Yeah, very cool. Tell us again the phone number and website.
Phone number is 952-204-7222, and you can find us on the web at newagehometheater.com.
Yeah, really nice job today. We're happy to have you. I think it's great. Again, a lot of fellow agents, I know brokers who tune into the show. This is a common thing that we see in our purchase agreements, in our transactions, when it comes to TVs, when it comes to smart home technology. It's nice to really know somebody in the industry. Again, nothing against the big box folks, but it's nice to support great businesses like yourself that are providing a little extra care and service, maybe than just going into that big national store.
Well, I think working with a company like Chad's, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get that top tier experience. You got people that have the experience and then the knowledge to make it happen. Going to big box, it's whoever they set you up with. And is it that person's first install? Is it their 100th install? You don't know.
Right.
That's kind of the scary point. So, I mean, if you want a predictable experience, you know the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Super cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's what I find, and since I'm doing this a very long, I feel a very long time, but clients, when they get a hold of us, they'll have us back in if they sell their house and get to the next house, and now we're working on their kids' house and stuff
Sure.
like that. So that's a pretty big deal to have that personable relationship, with them and be able to help them the whole way through.
Yeah, very cool.
Chad, you were talking about a 100-inch LED TV you installed.
Yes.
I didn't know they made TVs that big. Do you see that being a shift? If people start wanting to get to a home theater type of level deal, are you going to see maybe more TVs versus projectors going in for that then?
That I would have to say the price point hasn't come down for that yet. This TV that I speak about, 2 years ago, it was $60,000.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
Right. So now it came down to a very reasonable rate, which is $20,000. So, so if you have that in the budget, definitely we can do it, but if you think about it, you drop down to like an 82-inch and that's $3,700. So it just depends on where you want to go.
Yeah, there was a nice, I wanted to give a shout out, a nice event, real estate event this week. A friend of mine in the industry, a gentleman named Chad Jeske, leads an organization in the Twin Cities called Twin Cities Real Producers. And essentially it's kind of a networking group of a lot of agents from a number of the different companies in the Twin Cities. Chad had a wonderful event Thursday night. Got to see a lot of the different agents, outstanding agents with a variety of the different companies in the Twin Cities, kind of talking about the market, talking about what they're seeing, where things are at with the with the Twin Cities market. But Chad really does a nice job. Again, it's called Twin Cities Real Producers. A great organization, Mike. Just a lot of the agents, teams, brokers across Twin Cities that are doing a lot of business.
Yeah, it's a great group of guys. I saw the picture you posted the other day on that, and a lot of familiar faces there, a lot of knowledgeable people in the industry.
All right, we're on the last couple minutes here. What do we think? What do we think moving forward, Mike?
Are we talking about Vikings? Are we talking about real estate?
You pick.
There's a lot of talk about the Vikings. I don't know. That's one of those things here. They got a couple good tests coming up here in the next couple of weeks. They play the Bills tomorrow, right? And then the Cowboys the next week. So Market wise, I think it's going to be, again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but I honestly think the next 3 months is your best time to buy a house. And, looking back 12 months, looking forward 12 months, the next 3 months, best time to buy a house. You're going to get the best terms on it. And as far as interest rates go, I think we see some relief coming up there too. I mean, it would not surprise me that if we get into the spring and we see rates starting with a 5 on a 30-year fixed, I would not be surprised with that.
I had a text message come in asking if you guys do any work in the St. Cloud area. We actually do. So the Minnesota real estate team, we work really almost the entire state of Minnesota and western Wisconsin as well. So with our team, a group of agents, experienced, knowledgeable, hardworking, customer service focused agents, we really work all over the Twin Cities. I had a really nice meeting yesterday with Paul Dokauer, Paul and Krista Hill, who agents on the team are in the Duluth area. Paul has also been in the cities for a long time, but again, wherever you might be picking up the show or hearing this, we've got a top agent on the Minnesota real estate team. We're happy again to do a market analysis if you're thinking about selling, or from a buyer standpoint, just to sit down and talk about the market, introduce you to Mike, a local lender. Mike, local lending, so important right now.
Absolutely. It absolutely is. I mean, especially if you're looking to get the best terms on your house, use a local lender that's got a reputation here. That listing agent knows that, hey, I got confidence in that deal that it's going to get closed. There's not going to be any issues on the loan side of things. We're going to get to closing. Online lenders, out-of-state lenders, they've seen enough of those deals fall apart where it's just not your best play as a buyer if you're looking to get the best terms on it.
Yeah, good stuff. Chad, great job, man, on your debut. Well done. Well done. We appreciate having you on.
Yeah, appreciate it. Awesome.
Showrooms open.
It's during the week, 9 to 5.
Okay.
It's our typical showroom, by appointment only on the weekends. So obviously me as a business owner, I'm typically answering the phone at any time for you. So
good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Nice work, man. Nice work. Appreciate it. Mike, good job there, friend.
Good job to you, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Mike Overson. Again, Mike with Luminate Home Loans. Apply with Mike. Fellow agents listening, Mike is just outstanding all the way around. Super hard worker. Great company, Luminate Home Loans. They're a local company. They're a bank here in the Twin Cities. Mike, you are rocking it out, my friend.
Yeah. Taking over the bank was great. We love it. And our headquarters are right here off of 394 in Penn, so literally just a couple miles from our station right now.
Yeah, thanks again to Mike Dubs from K102 for producing the show for us. We'll be back again next Saturday. If you're thinking of buying, selling, investing, you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to help you, to serve you. I hope you and your families have a great weekend, and we'll be back next Saturday. Take care. Thanks for so many folks joining us. Pete, I saw your comment. How can we find the recording? Last week's show, we actually weren't live on social media last weekend. So there is the podcast you can pull up on Spotify of the actual audio of the show. So if you just go to Spotify or go to iHeart and pull up the Minnesota Real Estate Show, but there was no social media stream. So anyway, that's all we got. Nice job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
We'll be back next weekend. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the weekend, and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye now.